Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the delayed start here, or for the delays, but we were just waiting for Cure versus Nightmare to wrap up, and it did. We have our results, and Cure did take down Nightmare 2-0 and has advanced on to the semifinals, where he's going to be facing off against a player that we've been following for this tournament. It is going to be a ZVT. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. And here, we're popping off. We are already popping off, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressman. My apologies, Gressman. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing himself, going for a proxy 3 racks. It is Cure. We have 3 SCVs, of course, meaning 3 Raxes. Meanwhile, Dark going for a Hatch Gas Pool, a very standard opener. For the time being, he is none the wiser. I imagine he's going to be checking with his Overlord for any kind of proxy. There we go. He's going to be checking towards the south. He's checking the triangular third location. He's going to be checking the center location as well before going back to in front of his natural, which means he'll be missing this proxy. But the Overlord, it should be in position to see the bunkers. It should make it, ideally it makes it back in time for these SCVs when they do show up. If it doesn't, it's going to be disastrous here for Dark, because he will have very little time to react as to what's going on. And yeah, the Overlord it's not in position, is a little bit too adventurous, and the SCVs are soon to arrive. The bunkers are on the way, and Dark has no idea. He has no idea what's going on. No idea for the time being. The bunkers are now he knows, now he's aware, and we'll see how he reacts as he does evacuate the natural base. He's going to be staying on one base instead. This is the correct call. We do see basically Cure, he hides the third SCV, now he reveals it, and now Dark knows 100% that it is a 3 racks, that it is very committed from Cure. As Cure goes straight into the main base with this, he wants to get economic damage done. Lings are on the way, Queens as well. Cure, he's looking for some drone damage. We do see Lings coming in for a surround. Up! And it looks like Cure, he was a little bit too cavalier. He loses his Marines. He has plenty where that came from, and the SCVs did survive. That was already a big loss for Cure. Meanwhile, the Queen is out, so the Queen is under threat. The Queen should be hunted down by these Marines. As we can see, Dark trying to maintain control of the natural base. Dark banking up Lings as well. Baneling Nest is on the way. We're going for a Bane Bust. Oh my god. Bold move by Dark. This hatchery should go down. With the help of the Broodlings, maybe Dark can deal with this position. As the Broodlings are soon to come up. And yeah, there we go. We are going to be collapsing onto this bunker. The bunker is going to go down. The Queen's coming to help as well. Repairs are not available. And the bunker does fall, but it did take a lot of Lings. Looking at the units lost time, that was 12 Lings for 3 Marines. Oh, God, no! As the Overlord goes down, and Dark is supply blocked. Oh, not an ideal time for a supply block. The final SCV gets started. Oh, sorry, the second SCV gets started down. We have 1 left. And so far, Cure's doing a great job of protecting that last worker. Oh, Dark heavily supply blocked here. He still can't make anything else. We have Banelings now on the way. This Marine count is looking devastating as we continue to pump out nothing but Marines. Back at home, Cure is making workers. He's transitioning. He's got his gas on the way, soon to be factory. Oof, and I don't know if Dark can do this anymore. He lost so much earlier. He's been so delayed because of the supply block. I know he can bust down these Raxes, but there we go. We do have a scan. Cure is aware that a Bane Bust is coming. He pre-splits his army, getting ready for the Banelings. And I do think that Dark, he can bust these bunkers, yes, but I don't think he can counterattack. I don't think he's going to have enough to break through all these Marines. We'll see. As time goes on, we have a 3rd bunker on the way. Dark across the map, trying to scout, trying to get a read on what's going on any kind of transition. Spine Crawler is on the way. There's that hatchery. And now Dark, he has to pull the trigger. He has to go for it. Spinecrawler is going to move forward first. And then we can try to dive on this location. Oh, that Marauder adding so much DPS to this. Chipping away at the Queens. Spinecrawler. Oh god. We have a fourth bunker on the way. And here we go. Dark bringing everything together, edging closer with his Spinecrawler. And now he's waddling on in. He will take down some of these bunkers. We'll take down all of the bunkers, actually. Really good connections with those banelings. The Lings try to clean up, but there's just so many Marines, so many Marauders. It looks like just barely we at least deal with the Marines, but there's still something left over. There's still Marauders left over. Banelings go down. Only one Queen is left, only one Spine is left, and it looks like Cure is going to be able to just barely take down that Spine. And even though Dark is going to be able to clean this up, Dark is behind heavily in the worker count. Cure, he's transitioning back at home. He has done so much damage. Killed the hatchery, killed the Spine, killed Queens. So many Lings. And Dark is all in. Dark, he's not droning. He is not trying to resaturate his bases. He's making nothing but Lings here. His goal to end the game. Oh, good surround. A good surround is coming in from Dark. We'll eventually clean everything up. Stim is done. Cure gonna get the hell out of here. And now Dark, his goal, to bust the main. Now Hellions are in production, or they're soon to be in production. Oh my god, Cure double expanding, going for a third CC as well. Banelings are on the way. Does Dark have enough to break through? I do think he does. Will these Hellions come out in time? It's going to be close. Without these Hellions, then Cure, he won't be able to defend. Uh-oh. Here we go. The Banelings are waddling in. The Banelings are getting ready to waddle on in. I think Dark, he can break through this. The Hellions are too late. The depot wall falls. Lings are busting on in. The Hellions are coming up. But do they get surrounded? One of them does. A big surround on one of those Hellions. The Lings are flooding on forward as well. The Banelings, they get into the mineral line, and Dark has done it. He breaks on through. GG gets called. Dark takes game number 1. That was so close. If those Hellions had finished like 10 to 20 seconds earlier, that would have been a very different game. That would have been a very different game. Hellions on the high ground would have been so difficult to break through. They would have gotten so many volleys off on the Lings, on the Banelings as well. Oof. Would that have kept him alive? Hard to say. I don't... even with 2 Hellions, to be fair, I don't think that would have been enough. But regardless, GG, well played. Dark was in a terrifying... was in a devastating position. But even winding it back, his Banelings were beautiful. Like, the way that he was able to situate them to get as much, like, efficiency out of them as possible. As much splash damage on those bunkers as possible. Really well done. GG. GG, well played. And now he's already up in this series 1-0. Dark, the king of KSL. True, true. Hello, Wayne. Hello. And here we go. Now we're getting into our next game, into Neo Humanity. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. He was up against the wall. Things were looking dire for this man in game 1, but he brought it all back, and now he's ahead in this series. Representing CranKy Gaming, it is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran. Representing himself down in the series, it is Cure. Ooh. Oh my god. here we go. Dark able to bring it all back in the end, just barely. Was so very all in, but was able to bring it back. And yeah, now Cure is up against the wall. To be fair, this is Neo Humanity, and I kind of want to favor Cure a little bit on this map. I do think that there are certain things he can take advantage of, and Cure is the kind of player to do so, but we'll see. It was briefly mentioned in the chat, and I mean, I should bring that up as well. Last week we were casting the KSL SummerSlam, and Dark was the champion. He was the champion of the KSL. He brought down Maru in the grand finals, which was crazy. Dark really popping off, and yeah, he's our SummerSlam champion. Really impressive stuff. He worked his way through Maru. I think he worked his way through Cure as well, and many other big names. Dark even had a winner's interview afterwards. He was talking about how he feels like, one, he prefers like longer series. He feels like these short series can be a little bit punishing, and that he definitely was feeling a little pressure going up against Maru in the finals. He knows how good Maru is, so Dark was just trying to be as like unpredictable as possible. He was saying that like he was trying to make sure he was keeping the pressure up in the early game as well, just to try to throw Maru off his game and try to keep Maru off balance. And yeah, that was kind of his approach in those finals in that ZVT. And yeah, Dark, he won in the end. Again, he's one of the best Zergs in the world. For now, we do see Dark going for a hatch gas pool opener here on Neo Humanity. He does mix it up on this map. He does go gases from time to time, but this time he's playing it out safe. I don't blame him, especially against Cure, especially after what happened in game 1. Wants to take it slow and steady. Here we go. Baby, like, you need to calm down in the chat. Oh my god. Shaking my head. Yeah, we are getting Cure. Oh my god, Cure, he's crazy. Okay, I have not seen this before. It is a 3rd CC before starport, but Cure, he's getting his 3rd CC on location. He's crazy. Oh my god, este Cure. So once again, a little bit greedy here from Cure. Like, obviously you can be greedy on Neo Humanity, but to go for this is wild. It is wild. As Dark is getting his 3rd base up and running, Roach Warren is on the way, which does again make plenty of sense. So even though this map does favor like Terran and Protoss, especially if they want to be very macro oriented and defensive, you can get up to 4 and 5 bases really easily on this map. The other thing about Neo Humanity, even though it does have like these big defensive features and these big defensive bonuses, is that early on the rush distance is really short. You can knock down these rocks, and Dark is going for that hidden Roach Warren. He's looking to end the game a little bit earlier. Looking at his vision, does he see the 3rd base? He does not yet. Not too aware as to where his opponent has expanded. But we'll see what kind of push Dark is going to go for. The Roach Warren is now done at this point. No Evo chambers yet. As Cure did go for a 3cc Banshee opener. Cloak is on the way. Additional Raxes are being thrown down. First Banshee is moving out. So Dark, he isn't making too many Roaches, but they are moving out across the map. They're looking to try to bypass the Banshees and try to wreak some havoc as well. Did the Overlord? Yes, the Overlord did see the 3rd. Dark is aware, and as Dark moves out, Cure, he does spot it. Did have control of the Zelnaga. He is aware of what's going on. Immediately, Cure, he evacuates the 3rd. Does evacuate the 3rd base. So even though these Roaches are being picked away at, Dark, he still did a lot of damage. I mean, now this 3rd base, there isn't any mining going on at all. It's floating over towards the triangular 3rd location instead, where Lings are waiting for it as well. So a good move here from Dark overall. Behind this, double Evo chambers. We have our lair in production as well. 411. Forward speed. Meanwhile, the Banshees have arrived, and they're getting quite a lot done here. The Spore was a little bit late. 6 drones go down. Already an insane amount of damage done by these Banshees, as Cure is going to rotate over into the main base, looking for even more damage. But Dark, he's got his detection. His queens are in position. He's going to minimize his losses, but 6 drones already. Well worth it for Cure, bearing in mind that he keeps the Banshees alive and he can go back in again. Meanwhile, the Hellions are sharking around the map, also looking for an opening to get into one of these mineral lines. And Dark is not going for a 1-1 timing, as the Hellions do dive all the way, oh my god, into the natural base. The boys are being pulled. Oh my god, so many drones are getting roasted. 8 drones in total, 10 even. Dark not quite in position in time. The Hellion run by once again, just crippling the economy here of Dark. Cure taking a worker lead. And again, Dark he can't really be too aggressive. Sure, he has 1-1 on the way, but we have an infestation bit. And the infestation bit tells us that he's looking to go into infestors and a hive. And there it is. Hive is on the way. Infestors are in production. Dark, he's going to be saturating his 3rd, his 4th, his 5th. As the 5th is on the way. And that means that Cure's 3rd base is going to be safe. Obviously, he's preparing himself for an attack, and tanks are getting in position. I do think that he's a little bit vulnerable here, but again, Dark, he's looking for a longer game. Looking for a longer, drawn-out game instead. And we'll see how he's able to fare against Dark. So far, we have Banshees once again harassing the natural. We have a double drop that's going to be deflected away from the main. So far, Dark doing a good job at splitting up his army. He's got roaches spread out between his bases. Again, looking to keep up with the drop play. Ooh, and a Cure is moving out with his entire army. He's expanding behind this. 4th CC is on location. Once again on location, by the way. No fear from Cure. No fear. But there's very little creep here on the left-hand side. Very little creep. And Cure has identified that. He's getting ready to move out. He can, especially if Dark moves down the right-hand side, or if he's distracted by these Banshees, then Cure can wedge himself here in between this 4th base and the natural. Here we go. He's waiting for reinforcements. But yeah, this center base here is looking a little bit exposed. Single drop, is getting ready to go into the main. Again, Cure trying to set up a distraction. Banshee's dragging the Roach Ravager over to the right-hand side. That is creating an opening. And what is Cure going to go for? Does he go for the center base? He could try to siege up outside these mineral patches and try to drop into the natural, I guess. Alright, and here we go, but the piles have arrived. First tank goes down. Oh god, the piles even connect with the Medivacs and the Marines. Cure having a hard time pushing in. But there we go, he does end up dropping into the natural. Power bombs have arrived. These Medivacs are under threat. Biles once again take down another tank. Okay, I'm not entirely convinced by this push, but he does have another drop here on the right-hand side, working towards this fresh mining base. But we have an army waiting for him with good split against the Fungals. But the Fungals were pretty good nonetheless. Dark, he holds on to his 5th. Only 2 tanks are left. Every time they edge closer, we do see the Biles take them out. And here we go. Dark gonna come in from behind, swallow up the army. Power bombs, they take down the Medivacs, and Cure is gonna lose everything. At the same time, he drops into the main base, but Lings are waiting for him. He drops in. Oh, sorry, the Banshee's moving towards the 5th. They are finding damage. Marines head towards that center base as well, but alas, I think it's a little bit too little too late. Cure, his army's getting cleaned up on all fronts. And we do see Dark going for a counterattack. He's overextending a little bit though. Cure, even though he lost his army, his macro is still on point, and he does still have a second force here back at home. Throwing down 3 CCs at once. Looking to eventually establish his own 5th. Dark may have just used Banelings to kill rocks, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. As Dark is mustering up his army, working on a +3 carapace, working on a spire. We do have a big Dune drop here towards the south. Dark looking exposed. Gets a tank, but here comes the drop. Drop headed straight for the natural, but it looks like Darky does have eyes on this. He's able to keep up for the most part. Unfortunately, Darky hasn't mined through these mineral patches, so he can't quite gain access to this base, and that's a kill, not a cancel. 300 minerals down the drain. 2 medevacs go down. Good biles from Dark. Does, for the most part, clean this up. 1 drop does survive. And Cure, despite losing his army earlier, he is establishing his 5th. He's getting more bases up and running. He is cutting the map in half, and this is the advantage of a Neo-Humanity. It can be very difficult to push through any of these ramps. These tanks are in amazing positions, and Cure is looking to max out, looking to cut the map in half, go into the late game. Now, Dark, he didn't veto Neo-Humanity, so, you know, this is... clearly, this is something that he was mentally prepared for coming into this series. He's getting his own hatcheries up and running, triple expanding. And everyone strap yourselves in. We're in for a long one. A solid at least a half hour game. Unless Dark is able to find an opening. Unless he's able to, especially with these Vipers coming out, if he's able to find a way in where maybe there aren't as many tanks. Greater Spire on the way for Broodlords. Dark has been able to take up quite nicely. Has been able to tech up, and yeah, from here, Dark, this is the most important thing, to be honest, is that Dark, he's trying to take one of Cure's bases. It may not mean like much right now, but I mean, we are headed for a longer game, and it's so important for Dark to start mining from these fringe bases and basically take money away from Cure. Does get a tank, does force a cancel on the CC. Cure, he's transitioning into mech. It's going to be Ghost Mech. As Blue Flame is on the way. A massive Baneling runway though, and the tanks are out of position. Planetary is going to go down. Nidus does complete here in the natural, but nothing comes out of it, just distracting the army of Cure. And I mentioned this earlier, or like we were looking at it earlier, but yeah, this left-hand flank here of Cure, this base is looking a little bit exposed. Well, quite enough there to hold on. At the same time, some tanks, they get caught unsieged. 2 tanks go down. I love the avoid of the powerbomb here from these Vikings. They do land. They get rid of the powerbomb. At the same time, Ravagers here pushing in towards the left. You can see Dark doing everything he can to try to pick away at the army of Cure. Getting a tank here or there because this ground push from Cure is going to be pretty intense. Again, it doesn't take long at all to push from one side to the other side of the map. Here we go. The tanks, they get caught unsieged. Lings, they collapse on the army. The Banelings as well, rolling into those ghosts. A big cleanup. The tanks go down. Some ghosts will survive. But Cure, is he really going to push on forward here into Infestors, into Fungals? Up! Big Fungal on the ghosts. A chain Fungal as well. The Biles, they take down the Vikings, take down the ghosts and the Medivacs. Cure's forced back. This is what happens when you try to push on Neo-Humanity. Hey, mate. Like, it works both ways, the defender's advantage, and now Cure, he's has to back off. Obviously, he's forced to just turtle up even harder now. He has to just focus on expanding, taking other bases. Speaking of, Dark taking another one of Cure's bases here on the right-hand side. Now, even though he has these hatcheries, he isn't mining from them yet, but he may not need to because we have so many Banelings rolling on in once again. Some of the tanks are late to siege. Planetary will go down. Dark is being forced back, but again, a very efficient trade, crippling the economy of Cure. Taking down another base. I love as well that, like, I don't know if you saw, but as Dark was attacking, he actually wasn't using any fungals offensively. He's keeping his infestors in the back line, waiting for any kind of counter push so we can fungal the Ghost Army. Nidus into the main. We're pushing in once again. The Ling Vein, Roach, Ravager, everything's rolling on forward. The tanks go down. The Liberator does get focused as well, and it looks like Dark has too much. He's snowballing out of control. He's saving us from a 30-minute game. Let's go. Banelings are being cleaned up, but again, Dark, he's camping the production. He gets another tank as it comes out. And things just snowballed out of control. Basically, things started going south for Cure when he did start pushing across the map. When he got surrounded, when his tank count got reset, that was the moment where Dark knew he had momentum. He had to go for it. He had to send it. Boy, did he send it. One mistake is sometimes all it takes. Scans being thrown down. Infestors are being hunted down as well. But Dark, he has more than enough to just keep on rolling. Remaxing. Banelings are rolling on in once again into the mineral line, into the bases, into the army. And there is nothing left. GG gets called. Dark takes game number 2 and the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played again. Very patient play out of Dark. I say that initially he did go for, at least one counterattack on the left-hand side, but he was just waiting for the army. He was picking away, trying to bait his opponent to push onto Crete, push up a ramp into him, where he was able to just completely swallow Cure up. And after that occurred, Dark, he was able to remax that much faster, rebuild that much faster, go for another attack, and just not allow Cure to stabilize after losing such a large army. GG. GG, well played. Things escalated very quickly, out of control. And Dark advances on to the grand finals.